I just quick saved. Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. My name is Connor Monroe and after 5 years of hell, I came back with only one goal, to get you to like and subscribe. So if you're new here or haven't yet, be sure you hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content and ring that bell to join the clan and level up. And stick around until the end for some bloopers and a mention of the whistling guy. Yep, he's back. I feel like for that segue I deserve a like anyway. We always play video games for the evil guys, whether it's to be one ourselves or slash mindlessly through waves of evil dudes. But this is always on a screen. But which video game baddies would make your pants brown if they were real? That's what we're exploring with today's list of the top 10 video game villains that would be scary in real life. R.I.P. Arrow and roll the intro. In at 10, Spider Mastermind. I hate spiders. Plain and simple. Spiders suck. They don't deserve to be on this planet, and yes, that spider was dead when you came to see it, Dad, but that's because I killed it after it spent the night in my bed. It was cold because the basement was freezing and the AC was broken, hence why I was sleeping in the basement. Spiders aren't warm when they die. Sorry, I got a little carried away. This thing is terrifying and it's the final boss in Doom from 2016. And the new version ready for Doom Eternal when it comes out is so terrifying I'm actually peeing myself right now, goddammit. Spiders are not okay and should never be in video games. And I'm saying this because spiders are in too many video games. And this thing only had 4 legs, so like back the F off. It's not a spider, but it still scares the hell out of me. And at 9, Ganon. Ah, Ganon, the main antagonist of basically any Legend of Zelda game. Ganondorf is one of the most iconic video game villains of all time. In his Gerudo form, he may not be as terrifying as any other, but let's just go with Calamity Ganon from Breath of the Wild, where we all know he's an actual full-on demon who's escaped from hell and killed Sam and Dean along the way. Calamity Ganon has to be one of the scariest forms of Ganon we've seen to date, and if you ever saw any clues even pointing to the existence of Calamity Ganon, we would be running to colonize a new planet so fast we'd all become Sonic. This monster has the ability to make any SCP you can think of look like a banana and make you scared enough to want a taste of the banana, not of Calamity Ganon. I'll admit I could have been more clear. If this thing existed, I would be dead, somehow. Even if it wasn't due to Calamity Ganon, I'm sure someone would be going around taking people out just because nobody would want to live in a world where that exists. I sure as hell wouldn't. And at 8, Redeads. These tall zombie-esque monsters from the Legend of Zelda series are some of the most infamous monsters in the series. They stay in place, typically large crypts underneath villages, and wait for prey. When you come within like 10 feet of them, they emit a blood-curdling screech and freeze you in place long enough for you to watch as they come closer and closer, and then wrap their shriveled arms around you and hop up with their legs and just start draining the ever-living life out of you. They're gross and terrifying, especially when they let out that shriek that just ruins the lives of everyone around you, and will burst your eardrums if you're wearing earbuds to try to save them. They're just not good, okay? And if these things were real, I would never go anywhere where any dead bodies would be. And my roommate used to live in between 2 graveyards, so there would be no way in hell I'd be friends with him. But at least housing prices would be cheaper, I'm assuming. And at 7, SHODAN. SHODAN is an AI who got their moral restraints removed by a hacker, so that the Citadel Station Chief could delete some files regarding his illegal experiments. After these restraints were removed, she was able to develop a god complex and saw humans as slightly better than insects. In System Shock 2, she manifests herself as a woman-like face with a lot of circuit board textures on her face. It's all honesty very confusing cause like, it ain't a bad face. However, the whole god complex thing is kinda a little too much. And the fact that she can literally be your worst nightmare is one of the worst things you can probably think of, especially if you consider how much we live online today, especially for people you watch online. Their jobs and their companies and their whole lives are online. So to think that this could be a possibility and to think that it could end up having a god complex is possible and terrifying. And at 6, Fleming. Fleming is the main antagonist of Shadows of the Damned, a game released back in 2011. And while his past may be unclear, what is certain is how freaking monstrous he really looks. 3 skulls stacked on top of each other with the top 2 missing the bottom and 6 glowing red eyes to match. He looks like one badass motherfucker. And while it may look amazing, seeing this in real life with his sickly green skin and his terrifying presence would make anyone squirm and scream with fear. Running away won't save you, however, because this guy will find you. He has a very particular set of skills, like immortality, meaning no matter how long you live, you know Fleming is still out there, and you can't defend yourself because he's literally unable to die. He's a demon. He can teleport, levitate things, create demons, and teleport. You're a dead man. There is no other way you can handle the situation. You are dead. D-E-E-D, dead. Yeah, you heard me. I spelled it wrong on purpose. And at 5, Mecha Hitler. Seen as a boss in episode 3 of Wolfenstein 3D, he has some form of giant mech suit around him. If you thought he was dead and didn't believe all the conspiracy theories, you obviously haven't played this game. The mech is equipped with 4 chain guns for arms, and after half his health is taken away, he will hop out of the suit, now destroyed, and will use dual chain guns to try to finish the job. My question is, why is it half? Shouldn't it be like 3/4 of the way, since you know that means that normal Hitler, just the dude, the normal maniac Hitler, can take the same amount of damage as a suit of armor with 4 chain guns. Alright? The fact that this could technically already be real is terrifying, but if it was going to be really a reality, we would all be terrified. Especially if he had a mech. If you think that this whole US situation was gonna get bad, imagine if we had Mecha Hitler. This time, everyone would have been worried even more, and all the TikTok memes about Germany feeling left out wouldn't have happened. And at 4, Pyramid Head. Summer loving had me a blast. Summer loving happened so fast. I met some mannequins crazy for me. His triangle head cute as can be. Yes, the Metal Phineas and Fur reject is seen as the main antagonist of Silent Hill 2 and is the one stalking James Sunderland, who is controlled by the player. Pyramid Head was created because the developers wanted a villain without a face, but in all honesty, gave him an even more iconic one in the form of his triangular helmet that covers his whole head. Hence the name Pyramid Head, not face. The monster is seen violently assaulting a mannequin monster that is basically 2 lower halves of female mannequins sewn together. Great. He is shirtless, only wearing a sheet tied around his waist with a rope, and that sheet is covered in and saturated with blood. His helmet isn't much better, seemingly causing no distress, however looking very heavy depending on the material. If you saw this guy in real life, you would book it the other way. You know it. Especially after seeing what he does to those mannequins, and the other monster later in the game. Oh god, I don't want to get caught up in that, I'm out. No. And at 3, Bendy. Bendy is the main antagonist and title character from Bendy and the Ink Machine. This evil Mickey Mouse was created by the Ink Machine as an attempt to create a real-life cartoon character. They instead made a soulless version of their most famous character. Bendy's name was actually an accident created when the 3D modeling program Blender saved his character model with that name. Typically being referred to as the Ink Demon, Ink Bendy, or Beast Bendy, he will show up many times throughout the chapters of the game, and is a horrifying monster with disproportionate legs, a really skinny torso, and a face covered in ink, seemingly mimicking blood. The horrifying figure of this beast is enough to scare you in the game, but what if it was literally standing right behind you right now, and the only thing you could do was stand there, vulnerable and unable to protect yourself or deal some damage. Just stand there, shaking in place, unable to move, just waiting for your inevitable demise at the hands of Ink Demon Bendy. And at 2, Alduin. While some of you may be mad because I'm making Alduin number 2, because you think Bendy or someone else should be here, think about it. If there was a dragon that was as black as night and was literally called the World Eater that showed up in our world and started resurrecting other dragons, wouldn't you be dropping a load in your pants? Especially because while the dragons may have been long dead in Skyrim, they never existed in our world. So wouldn't that be one hell of a shock? If Alduin was a real part of our world, you know damn well that everyone would be dead. We don't have a Dragonborn. We don't have some ultimate dragon slayer that can come help save humanity from the dragons. And who knows where the dragons would be buried? We have far more infrastructure than they do in Skyrim. The dragons are probably buried underneath buildings. What if there was one underneath every world monument? There could be one under the White House. Hell, one could even open up the door to Olympus for God's sake. We'd be just screwed. No, don't even try to debate that. Alduin's number 2, deal with it. Finally, in at number 1, The Witch. Left 4 Dead along with its sequel are fun games about mass zombie destruction, with every campaign being a movie. While yes, the game had some slight scares, those mostly being the hunters, jockeys, and okay boomers, the worst of them all is The Witch. You'd be going about your campaign mowing down zombies with an AK while your friends screw around and hit cars, causing the horde to show up. Thanks, Cameron. Well, you think everything is hunky-dory, but then you realize that you can hear it. The faint screaming of the witch can be heard, and you know that you'll have to be on your game. The characters even say to turn your flashlights off, and somehow someone always manages to trigger it because they were waiting back there until everyone left because they're a stupid piece of AI trash. Okay, I'm clearly not over it yet. Coach was literally 3 minutes behind us and somehow triggered it, okay? I can't help it. Whatever, it's terrifying. She is terrifying, and when she's got you pinned and she's clawing your face off, you regret not turning your flashlight off. That's all I have to say. There we have it, friends, the top 10 video game villains that would be scary in real life. What did you think of this list, and are there any villains I missed? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to hit like and subscribe while you're on your way down to yell at me. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Charlemagne Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. I literally can't work anywhere else. It's the whistling guy! I knew it was gonna happen! Put this at the end. Okay, hold on. Connor versus the world.